Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the agenda for Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome into the Agenda podcast. The day after Bob Marley's birthday,
Yep.
of course, was yesterday, and Waitangi Day as well.
Yeah. How did you commemorate Waitangi Day, Manaia?
Well, me and about 200,000 of my closest friends sat on the southern motorway in Auckland for a good couple of hours in the afternoon yesterday, just in solidarity.
Yeah.
All returning home, presumably, from our long weekends.
Yeah, everyone took the Le Pont, took the Monday off. You did that.
Le Pont hard.
You Le Pont hard. Chris Key Le Pont hard, didn't he?
We were Le Ponding together.
Yeah.
Down in the Coromandel. It cracks me up because every year Timaru enters Caroline Bay into the top 10 beaches in New Zealand, and every now and then it wins. Like, it is, according to whatever publication puts that out, one of the top 10 beaches in New Zealand. Then you go to the Coromandel and you're like, oh no, there's like 15 beaches here alone that are better than that.
I feel those awards, it's a bit charitable every now and then. Like, the New Zealand's most beautiful town usually goes to a real inland shitter. Yeah, and because the coastal towns are like, well, people know we're awesome.
We don't need it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like we don't need the advert, we don't need the publicity. Thanks.
Yeah,
we're fine. We're happy the way we are. Hey, tremendous beach. I'm probably telling everyone something they already knew, but for you South Islanders, it's tremendous.
Well, the whole coast up Coromandel. If anyone hasn't been to, it is basically Fiji Peninsula.
Yeah.
White sands, crystal clear waters.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Little islands. It was like if you had flown overseas to get there, you'd be like blown away the entire time. But for some reason, because you drive there, you're just like, oh yeah, you kind of take it for granted a little bit. I don't know. But it was absolutely excellent. Shout out to Jake and the Old Boys, who were the band playing at the campground we're staying at in Hahe.
Oh, nice.
It was a bit too windy for Jake and the Old Boys. I think their joints were starting to play up on the first night, so they had to postpone to the second night. They played about a 4-hour set that consisted of half the songs that a 4-hour set should take.
Yep.
Just long breaks in between to really stretch it out.
Well, fair enough. And news yesterday too, in the middle of the day 3 commentary, news was flowing in via the Herald that up in Waitangi that people were busting through farm gates to get to Waitangi due to traffic issues.
Oh, wow.
My cousin's farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So got a busted farm gate?
Yeah, he got a busted farm. Well, there's a private road that runs through his farm that goes down the back of Paihia to Waitangi to the mountain bike park behind Waitangi.
Right.
And it is...
so they were trying to get to the mountain bike park?
Of course. But Google Maps always shows it as a road, and and for years he's been trying to get in touch with Google and say it's not a road.
Yeah.
And so there's farm gates all along it. There's a farm gate at the end that's like padlocked up, and basically they just busted through it. and so there was people just hooning through his farm, headed to Waitangi, he did attempt to stop them, and he said it was an awkward conversation. He's quite a large, white, bearded man telling a bunch of what he described as, some pretty passionate Māori activists to get off his land on their way to Waitangi.
Sorry, whose land? Sorry, I'm just tucking into the cashews here. This is not podcast conducive.
Yeah, what did you get out of it? That's for the cricket. Get out of it.
I know. Well, let's get into the cricket now.
Okay.
Now that we're here, and leave your racist cousin behind.
Hey, if someone drove through your back of your property, whether they're white, brown, or yellow.
Yeah, that's what the protests have been about these 150 years. Day 3 happened yesterday. Miraculously, there will be a day 4. So the day in review, we put them. They put us back into bat. Inexplicably, I couldn't believe that we didn't force the follow-on because they were so far behind.
Yeah, they got him out for 162, chasing 511. So behind.
What's the thinking behind not enforcing the follow-on?
I've heard all sorts. Of reasoning. One being giving Conway and Latham a bit more time out in the middle before the Aussie series.
Didn't pay off.
Some saying they were resting the bowlers, but they only bowled 72 overs, and there was a night's sleep in between that.
Yes.
So I don't know about that. But the most plausible one was raised by Dylan Cleaver and Paul Ford on the BYC podcast. If you're a real cricket nerd, get onto that one. And that seems fairly plausible, is that when you're batting overnight, you get to choose which roller they use in the morning. And traditionally, if you're batting, you just ask for the light roller because you don't want the pitch to break up or any damage to the pitch.
Right.
It's had 3 days of baking Mount Maunganui's sun on it. It's starting to break up a little bit on the popping crease, and they say that because we're batting, Southie can choose the heavy roller. So basically, they'll run a steamroller over that.
Yeah.
Any loose materials, any cracks will be opened up or just kind of what they say would break it up.
Right.
So that's another theory.
Yeah. Which we'll need because we're only 400 runs ahead of them.
Oh my God, we are so far ahead. We're more than 400. Are we 450 or something? I don't know. It's out of control.
Yeah.
It's out of control, Max. So we will bat for a little bit this morning, I imagine.
Yeah.
And then put them in, and then we've got basically 6 sessions, 2 days to bowl them out. Which
it was sort of fits and starts yesterday because we were at about 450. The lead was, and I thought maybe they in their head had 500, and just for whatever reason we're like, let's get a 500 run lead.
Yeah.
Because clearly someone came out. I think Mitchell ran out with the water at one point.
Yeah.
And
no, it was Young.
Yeah, right.
Will Young.
And no one took a sip.
Yeah.
And then he ran back off again.
He got absolutely sent off. The umpires came down and said, get out of here.
Yeah.
And then he got abused by a few of the players. He was laughing. It was like, the batsman should have chucked him a bone and had at least one sip of electrolytes.
Yeah, to make it look like he was out there to bring them a drink. So he obviously went out there and said something along the lines of, right, let's put the foot down or something like that. And then Conway hit a 6 off the next ball, then got caught off the one after that.
Yes.
And so that was him done. And then it looked like they sort of parked the bus a little bit for the remainder of the period there. So it was real fits and starts sort of stuff. It's hard to glean what exactly they were going for.
Yeah.
But you can't really see this game going longer than this day. Like, chances are by the time you're listening to this, this game might be over.
It's going to be very difficult for the South African batsmen to concentrate.
Yeah.
And because obviously they can't win the game.
Yeah.
All they can do is bat 2 days. And with the current lineup they've got, it's pretty flimsy from about 5 onwards. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But Williamson notched up his 31st Test century with so much ease and so carefree. And it obviously prompted Joe Jury, our kind of operations and content director here on the ACC, to, I don't know, when he gets bored, Joe, he just likes to receive death threats. It's like a kind of a masochistic kind of trait of his. And as soon as he scored that 31st Test century, he created the meme of Carol Baskin and her husband, and the husband's on a lead and dressed as a tiger, and she's got him on a lead. And he put Virat Kohli, who's only got 29 Test centuries, so he put Kohli, 29 Test centuries, as the man in the lead, and Carol Baskin, Kane Williamson, 31. And just detonated it at about 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah.
And lo and behold. But it's funny because all the ACC audience, they all just like post popcorn emojis.
Yes.
Like of just, watch this.
This is going to be good.
And then someone goes, they won't take the bait. And got him.
Sure enough, they take the bait every time. The most common threat that always comes through is that they're going to kill Joe's dog.
Yeah, I know.
And the thing about that is...
He doesn't have a dog.
But is that because they keep killing it?
Yeah, well, potentially.
That's the only thing.
No, I think they also threaten a lot of things that their dog will do to his mother as well.
Yeah. Joe's mum really takes a hiding in these. All right, so I've got some of the best messages that we've had come through on social media via Facebook and Instagram, because it does. This thing hits the algorithm so hard every time we do it. It's brilliant. In terms of hitting a century against a team with 6 or more debutants, with like a crying laughing emoji from one of the Indian cricket fans. Someone else wrote, Kane Williamson is a minnow basher of highest order. Not even shoe dust of Smith, Root and Kohli. If I were you, I'd be worried about my minnow team's performance, as they have not been able to win a single test in Oz and India. State of you overrated clowns.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you didn't put on the accent there, Manaia. You did well. Like, you could feel you slightly slipping into it.
No, I don't see the world through that lens. Williamson is a terrific batsman, just like Root, Amlar, and a few others of recent vintage. Smith and Kohli are in a class of their own. Don't put Smith in there. They are just a small step higher, and 2 hoots to the stats guy who can only throw numbers at you. I don't really know what that means.
I know, it's very fun. You got to go and check it out.
They need attention now. We always respect NZ team as the most humble, but this is bullshit. By the way, Virat Kohli, 1 Instagram post equals your NZ board income, so stay in limit. basically stay in your lane is what that guy was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a valid point. He in one Coley post is more than the entire New Zealand cricket revenue.
We didn't say that we make heaps of money.
No, we just said he was a rubbish batsman.
Scores heaps of runs. I am not a fan of cricket. I've never watched it, but one thing I can say, I've never heard of Kane Williamson. But Virat Kohli is everywhere, even in the heart of admin's mum.
Well, what is he doing? What is he doing on our Facebook and Instagram if he's never heard of Kane Williamson or cricket or anything?
And why does Joe Jury's mum always get brought into this?
Yeah, well, she deserves it sometimes. She's responsible for him.
Yeah, true. So go and have a look. Go get into the comments of that post. In fact, try and fire up a little bit of your own entertainment in there.
Oh,
if you can bait someone into responding to your comment.
It's so good. Yeah, you could go on there and comment on one of the comments and just watch it.
Yeah.
It's when when there's a bushfire and the fire brigade have to go and put out hotspots.
Yes.
And they just keep popping up every now and then. That's what you just need to do. You need to just keep going in there and fanning the hotspots.
Start your own wee hotspot.
Yeah.
Start a wee fire break if you can. Maybe if you could light the comments up so bad that they stop. See if you can pull that off. Day 3 is kicking off as we're recording this in just about an hour's time.
Day 4.
Day 4, sorry.
Yeah.
And chances are there will not be a day 5, but please do join us for that commentary. Moving on, the Aussies have just named their T20 squad for our series, and they've named everyone.
Yeah, they have to. It's a T20 World Cup year. So, they have to send their full squad. And
That's a good point, actually.
They've got T20 World Cup is happening in West Indies and the US in kind of June, July period.
Is that part of why South Africa have not sent their T20 players, do you think?
Maybe. That could be part of it, because obviously they want them to play T20 cricket back domestically.
Yeah.
So, maybe. And I'd say that would be part of it. And plus it earns them more money than a test tour in New Zealand.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So they got Cummins and Stark, as well as Head and Smith, who will return to the T20 side after being rested for their home T20 series.
That's terrifying, eh?
Yeah.
Cummins and Stark and Hazelwood and it's going to be an awesome series.
Yeah.
And we've got 3 T20s and we've got 2 tests. Also, David Warner's been named in the team.
Yes, in the T20 team.
Yeah, so this is going to be good. So we're going to have to get He's the Wound on. I want 15,000 people in the East Stand singing, He's a Wounder, He's a Wounder. You can see that song on social. We'll put it everywhere. It would be good. It would be emotional. I reckon it could potentially bring a tear to his eye.
It will, because he will not recognise it as slagging him off.
No.
He'll just hear them singing
Hallelujah.
what he thinks to be Hallelujah. Just like, big Shrek fans. And then he's just going to take it as a compliment, and it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
15,000 people singing that will be just beautiful. So go and pack that East Stand. Well, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a real test of where we're at, that Aussie series.
Yeah, it will be, because you've got those 3 T20s and then the 2 tests. We could end our summer on a magnificent high.
Yes.
Or we could end our summer licking our Kiwi wounds.
Yeah. I feel like we've got nothing really to lose. We should lose to them when they come over here,
I think they're a good team. We've got a good team, though.
We do.
The balance of our team, when I see that batting lineup.
Ours?
Yes. And Southey's at 11, Henry at 10, Jameson at 9. That's a good tail. That's a good, strong crocodile tail.
One of the greatest tails in international cricket.
It is one of the greatest tails.
So that one kicks off in a couple of weeks. We will be commentating all of that as well. Quick break, and then we'll be back to talk a little bit of rugby. In one of those news headlines that makes people go, wait, hang on, wasn't he already? The Springboks have just appointed Rassie Erasmus as the coach until 2027.
So he's sat out his ban. Didn't he get banned from being a coach for a while? Were hot takes?
There was it's like a party pill situation where the lawmakers have to try and stay one step ahead of Rassie Erasmus with how they word his ban.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, you're not allowed on the field, but then he was sitting on the sideline. Oh, we're not allowed on the sideline now. He's up in the stands flashing lights down at the coaches, and they're just like, fuck it, I don't know. Go on, just be the coach again. And so he has been announced as the coach through 2027. At the end of last year, Jacques Nienaber, who was the coach for the last 4 years, he stepped down and went to coach one of the European clubs. And then Rassie Erasmus is like, oh, huge honour. I reckon he knifed him for sure.
Oh, totally did.
He was, because his former, he was like director of rugby operations or one of those sort of bullshit titles. And then he, is back now as the coach. And the more interesting twist to this story, he's been in hospital for more than a week recovering from chemical burns while using a powerful detergent. that is the most Rassie Erasmus part of the story that I've ever heard in my life. What was he doing using a powerful detergent? Why did it explode on him?
It's got a real Breaking Bad vibe to it, doesn't it?
It's just, I don't know. There's everything about this guy. He's got a touch of he's like South African Eddie Jones. He's just got a touch of the Magoos about him. Nothing would surprise me. The traffic light system was ridiculous. Chemical burns the week that you announce your new job is ridiculous.
I like him.
I like him too. He's great for World Rugby, and he's great for us.
That's the same with Eddie Jones. He's a complete knob, but so funny to have on the scene.
I don't want him in charge of the All Blacks.
I would, absolutely. I'd rather have Rassie Erasmus and Eddie Jones on the scene than Steve Hansen, Ian Foster, and some other in press conferences. Look, good coaches, mind you, but just purely selfishly from almost a media point of view, it's the more hot takes, the better for us.
We need to get the Netflix doco team in there to follow the Rugby Championship this year.
Yeah.
This will be the year to do it.
Oh, yeah, with Rassie. Yeah. And then you've got Schmitty.
Razor.
And Schmitty.
Yeah, Schmitty. Although he's got a little bit dry. Got a touch of the Steve Hansons about him.
But you need the light and dark, don't you? You need that. So you can't have three complete lunatics running kind of the Super Rugby Championship.
It'd be a great year to do it too, because Australia is obviously in all sorts. Yeah. New Zealand and South Africa just played each other last year. There's the whole Razor Fozzie aspect of it, like a good bit of background to get a few more people into rugby.
Surely they're doing it.
They must be. The NRL one went around last week or the week before.
Oh, that's the halves one?
Yeah, but it was just someone actually made that as a... Like, Netflix have not made that documentary. Someone just made that trailer to be like, how cool would it be if they did this?
There must be there is a market for a parody.
Documentary.
A parody documentary on sports, because the formula now is pretty simple. Yes. Like, you look at it with Breakpoint, the
golf one, Full Swing,
and Drive to Survive. There's a formula around following someone who goes through a journey or whatever. It'd be quite funny to do a there's a market there for parody. You need to talk to Lee Hart. He'd probably do a good one.
So they go for a big star, a renegade, like a Kyrgios, who's our man Ian Poulter in the golf one, and then they go for like a battler who's like sort of up and down and like just on the verge. Who would they be for Super Rugby? If it was a big star, I mean, I guess most of our big stars have left, haven't they?
Playing in Japan
this year. But it would be good to just follow along like a little... just some NPC wounder who's like on the verge of Super Rugby contract, and then he gets a call up late, like Josh Lord. Not that he's a wounder, but one of those kind of players.
I suppose that's what that British what's the Netflix program with the football coach? I suppose that's what that is. What is it? They're big.
It's not Wrexham.
No. We are Wrexham. No, the comedy. Everyone watches it.
No,
you know what it is. It's about the American coach who comes in and coaches the Premier League football team. I can't remember.
Someone's screaming at their device right now.
Someone is screaming at their device right now. I've been told to watch it so many times. It's like a wholesome comedy, nice story. It's been to its second season.
Don't just sit there scream. Don't just sit there and scream at your phone. Get on the iHeartRadio app and push the microphone button and scream at us, and we can play it on the podcast tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Just while you Google that.
I'm in so much trouble for not remembering this.
Some more rugby news as well. Patrick Tuipulotu, Ted Lasso.
How can I not remember that? I've been too many days commentating cricket. There you go. Sorry, carry on.
Patrick Tuipulotu's broken his jaw playing in the pre-season, so he's flying halfway around the world to break his jaw in a pre-season game.
Rumour, who broke his jaw?
Who was it?
It was his vice-captain.
Oh, was it a head clash? I haven't seen that.
I'm making that up.
Because Dalton Papali'i will be the captain now.
Yes, I was making it up that Dalton Papali'i at the bottom of a mall.
He's going to be out for at least 10 weeks. The jaw's a long time to come back for a rugby player.
Sucks. Jaws suck as well. Also, very difficult to keep your weight on.
Yes.
Because you can't really chew.
No.
So everything's mashed up.
This has just happened to an NBA player who broke their jaw and just is taking so long to come back because he just lost so much weight.
Yeah.
Because he's drinking protein smoothies for every meal.
Yeah.
So Patrick Tuipulotu is going to be out for at least 3 months, which is a long time in this competition. What is it now? Start of February. So we're going February, March, April, and then sort of May, June is when you're getting into your playoffs.
Finals, yeah.
So this could be devastating for the Blues, which is just great to see. Yeah. Not for Patrick Tuipulotu, but for the Blues in general.
You're such a Canterbury asshole.
To the basketball as well, you may have seen this on social media. Part of All-Star Weekend this year is going to be in Indianapolis. It's going to be played on a state-of-the-art full video LED court. Have you seen the videos of this?
The videos look like a computer game.
It's ridiculous. So it's a full LED screen, like TV screen, underneath a glass court that people are going to play on. And they can do things like when someone hits a three-pointer, like you say, it's like a video game, they'll flash up underneath that player's feet, 3 points. And they can play all sorts of animations and blah, blah, blah. This is awesome. It's going to be a nightmare to watch. People are going to have an absolute stroke trying to...
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have epilepsy.
No.
Watching this, because there's a lot of flash and a lot of moving parts.
It's going to be tough to keep track of, as it goes on. But it's only going to be the skills competition, the 3-point contest, slam dunk comp, and Steph Curry's having a shoot-off against Sabrina Ionescu, who's a female player.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a shootout as well. So it's only going to be across those, because I think playing on an actual game on the floor, it's like already confusing it enough as it is.
Yeah.
Now imagine missing a call as a ref because you saw some bullshit going on the court.
Yeah, I'd say when the game's on, obviously it's just going to be, it's going to look exactly like a court looks. With the wooden...
They're playing the actual All-Star game on a wooden floor. But they're playing the celebrity game, like a proper basketball game, on there, which will be pretty cool. It's like the videos that we saw of the proposed Saudi stadium that they're going to have. This stuff is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that kind of thing.
So all the demonstration hoo-ha will go on the play court, the LED court. Oh, okay. It looks still pretty mean.
It does, yeah. And like as they hit 3-pointers in the 3-point contest, if you can see their feet lighting up underneath them like it's a PlayStation game, I mean, that'll be sick. I don't know. It could be. The floors in the in-season tournament they had in the NBA were quite distracting for the first couple of times you saw them. And when you turn on a basketball game and the floor's fluorescent red, you're like, the fuck is going on here? It's going to be interesting to see how those go. I know that some boomers are going to have an absolute stroke when they see it, but to be fair, how many of them are watching the 3-point shootout? And sticking with basketball just quickly, the Breakers have 4 games remaining in their season before the playoffs. They need 3 wins to clinch a top 6 spot, and two could probably do it for them as well. So they only need to win 2 of the next 4. Unfortunately, their NBA import, Anthony Lamb, tore his Achilles in the last game that they won. Is there a more terrifying injury in sport? Would you rather break your jaw or tear your Achilles?
Jaw.
Yeah, jaw, same.
Definitely, because like I've mentioned on this podcast, I am in fear of snapping my Achilles most days. Because I've got so many friends of my age who have snapped their Achilles playing tennis, like just bending down, playing squash, being a wicket keeper in last man stands. And it takes them like 6 months to get over it. It is a horrific injury. I mean, athletes probably get them sewn up and they're back in maybe 3 months.
Oh, no, even then they're out for like 6. It does take a long time.
And I just feel like a sniper has its little laser target on one of my Achilles 24 hours a day. And I feel it just at any point it's going to pull the trigger and my Achilles is going to go.
Yeah. Is it when you get out of bed, do you notice it? You like stand up for the first day in the morning?
Yeah, and just if I sit under my desk for a little longer and then they tighten up and I walk around and go, here you go, he's going to take the shot. Sniper one's going to take the shot.
And the scariest part of it is because there's no warning.
No, that's what they say. They said just came out of nowhere in the middle of a squash game in which you've been playing for an hour, so you'd like to think you're warmed up and sniper one takes a shot. A guy was wicket keeping, mate Muzz was wicket keeping, basically standing there, bent down, when you take the ball, sniper one took the shot, then just buried him. And it sounds like a sniper shot as well.
It sounds like a gunshot, yeah. I've heard one go off at a netball court and it just echoed around. And it's just, everyone thought that someone had, slapped someone. No.
Sniper.
Yeah, it was the goal attack just going down in a crumpled heap. I don't know if it hurts that bad, although, look, I guess it's shock.
I think it does. It hurts in the fact they're just...
It seems terrifying.
Yeah, and they're just crippled for like months.
Yeah. Oh, God. We shouldn't have talked about it. Now I feel weird. You've got a bit of Formula One news for us.
Yeah, like I was digging deep. Liam Lawson's doco comes out, and The Wings comes out today, following his season last year. And obviously the news around Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari next year, and funnily enough, it's all about the money. His multi-year deal with $100 million annually, which is a substantial raise from his 2-year deal, which was $125 in total for Mercedes. But the Ferrari chairman, John Elkann, essentially wrote him a blank check committing over $400 million. This is US.
Jesus.
To Hamilton's business projects and charitable initiatives outside of Formula One.
I can't imagine it's a salary cap sport, Formula One. No.
And so he got that. I think it might be. I think there is on the cars themselves and the model. But I don't think the talent. But also on the announcement of Lewis Hamilton. This is why it's worth it. On the announcement that they had signed Lewis Hamilton, it sent their stock 12% higher on Thursday. Which added over $10 billion to their market cap.
To Ferrari?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So you could see that's why it's like a blank check when that happens.
Yeah.
And overnight, they got 232,000 followers on Instagram.
Ferrari did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Additional. They garnered 500 million impressions on their website across Ferrari, Mercedes, and the Formula One accounts.
Yeah.
And they're saying that's reportedly worth $13 billion in terms of digital advertising and marketing.
Good God.
So you can see it's worth it. He's basically made everyone billions of dollars because when he signed with Mercedes, they were worth $389 million as a team, Formula One team. Now they're worth $3.8 billion.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they do $700 million annually in revenue compared to $195 million when he arrived. So you could see, even though he hasn't won a championship for a few years, he is the Tiger Woods of Formula One in terms of he is the most well-known Formula One motorsport driver in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can see why they've just wrote him a blank check.
Yeah,
that's so much. And look, Ferrari haven't won a world championship in 20 years.
But just that much.
But also the Formula One, they pay Ferrari $35 million US a year as a heritage bonus because they are the only team that have been there from the very start and raced every year of the Formula One.
Far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a like rich sport, and that, just the fact that you would pay someone $30 million, and we're scraping to try and get, enough money to pay a Super Rugby guy.
I know.
A contract.
I know. Well, so there you go. That's why Liam Lawson's into it. Imagine what he's getting paid as a reserve driver. I wonder if they must get a decent whack, surely.
I would say so. It's just such a top heavy. I think we talked about this the other day. It was like, it's such a top heavy sport, Like he obviously a lot of them are like what LeBron James gets paid versus our man Anthony Lamb who just did his Achilles.
Yeah,
it'd be night and day, but those figures are astronomical.
I know when all of those things, when it's 300, 400 US million. It's insane. I see Christian Horner's got himself.
Yes, what did he do?
Horn Dog's got himself. Well, I don't know if he's done anything, but he's been accused of inappropriate behaviour within the Red Bull team. Okay. And it makes my question to Liam Lawson around who has the biggest downstairs, Christian Horner, Toto Wolff, or Gunther Steiner.
Yeah.
And he hesitated before saying Christian Horner. So maybe Horner's got his horn dog out. I'm not sure.
Wait. Is that report something to do with your interview with Liam Lawson? Is that what they could be investigating?
Imagine that. No, I don't think so.
It'd be one of the best things.
But Christian he's come out and said it's absolute crap. We'll see how that pans out.
I think that interview with the full interview with Liam Lawson is going to be out later on today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I talked to him probably for another 10 minutes or so outside of the inappropriate questions in the 22 and 2.
Yeah.
We just talked about a few bits and pieces. Some of it inappropriate, some of it appropriate. I think we talked about my testicles and his testicles for quite some time.
Yep.
Because he famously did an entire race in Japan.
The mouse out of the house.
Yeah, because they had the 6-point belt there and it popped out. And he was basically going around the corner and on the straights, he was driving with one hand while trying to tuck his testicle back in. And he said it was excruciating pain for 45 minutes and he won the race.
I can't imagine it. The closest I've had is I was at the gym one day and my undies wrapped around one of my nuts and I was at the bottom of a squat and I tried to stand back up, and as I stood, it provided more torsion on the underwear. And so I was stuck at the bottom of the squat, and the only person who saw me struggling was this girl who came over. She's like, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" I was like, "Nah, you're right." I just had to drop the weight on the ground. I can't imagine doing 45 laps with that kind of thing going on.
I would scream straight into the pits and just undo the belt. I'm terrible when it comes to that. I played rugby in the UK, and they're terrible, dirty ball grabbers over there. When you go into a ruck with the ball, they just grab your nuts or stick your finger in your ass. They're just dirty, filthy. Anyway, first time it happened, I just dropped the ball and just started swinging immediately.
Yeah, of course. I'm not tolerating this.
Yeah, completely.
I think I would have driven myself straight into the tyres if that was happening to me.
They go to the camera and you've just let go of the wheel and you just go ravaging yourself.
Slam into the tyres like I'd rather die. So yeah, look out for that interview later on today. I think it'll be on this feed, so you shouldn't have to look too far. All right, one more quick break. Then we've got a yours, please. We're gonna mop up some of the headlines of the day, and we've got another half-baked sports idea because it is a Wednesday.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
By this stage, you know how this works. We've got the little microphone button on the iHeartRadio app. You can leave us a message, and a ton of them have been coming through for the commentary. We play those out as the commentary goes. Test matches are great for that.
Oh, absolutely.
To be able to digest those. But our dear friend, long-time listener of the podcast, Horatio Ringbinder, has come back with a great question.
G'day fellas, it's Horatio Ringbinder here, messaging in from Masterton. Just on your micro pigs, I seriously think that the ACC could do with an emblem or a symbol or something that represents them, and I think the micro pig would be an ideal thing. Imagine that little bugger sitting up there with a little white suit on. That would be like really cute.
Interesting.
So what do you reckon if the ACC had a mascot? What do you reckon it would be? What should it be? Because I think one of the original editions of the Steady Ship hat had like a eagle or a bird of some sort on it. What was that?
I don't know. That was just, we made that up.
We
just made it up. We just wanted a badge that looked, to be honest, that badge looked kind of Germany 1938.
Very 1938.
So, rid of that.
Yeah.
Got rid of that. It was, just had a vibe to it that probably didn't suit.
Didn't align with what we stand for.
No, it would have been worse if the hats were black as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love micro pigs, but I don't know what would our mascot be?
Well, the thing is, if you just pick something, it eventually comes to stand for what you want it to. For example, the Bourgeois Hawk, which was just found at an op shop.
Yes, it
at
was.
Haberdashery by Cape Breton.
Yeah, Drunken Disorderly, I think it was. Drunken
Disorderly.
Yeah.
No, that was a completely different weekend, that one. And then that became a symbol for that show for the longest time.
Yeah.
The Bourgeois Hawk. So I don't know I don't know if it's a pig. You're sitting next to the Dulux dog, which I don't know if it's a dog. There's not really an animal that you associate with cricket.
I'd like it to be maybe the Haast Eagle.
Oh, yeah, the Haast Eagle.
Yeah, that's badass. That's a badass bird.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick with the Haast Eagle. Well, get in touch with us if you've got a better idea for what our official emblem or mascot should be. As we will quickly mop up some of the stories of the day. Have you seen, Lane, the Apple Vision Pro videos going around on social media?
What is going on there? I have seen loads of people like sitting in trains ear typing with big goggles on. I've seen a guy driving a self-driving Tesla while typing in the ear with the goggles on. It's like, what is happening?
The future is now. It's coming at us so quick. I watched a couple of videos of how the actual thing works, and it's pretty cool because you can so I watched a video of a girl cooking, and so she's got 2 pots on the stove, and you can drag a timer over each of the pots and it'll stay there, so you know how long each of the things has to go, and then the recipe's over here.
You just look like
outwardly you look like a twat.
Yeah, you got ski goggles on, basically.
You have ski goggles on. This is the biggest barrier that they have, because so many people have tried this Google Glass, all these different ones, but you look like a twat with them on, so that's the biggest barrier. But then sitting in your lounge and you can see the different screens. I watched a guy watching a game of basketball. It's like he's sitting courtside, and the screen's as big as you want it to be.
I think they should remain in the home.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because when seeing them out in the wild, you really just want to punch them in the face.
100%.
And also, I'm guaranteeing the porn industry is probably going to clock onto this pretty quick.
Well, they're innovators in whatever field. Back in the day, before DVDs emerged, there was another technology that was neck and neck with DVDs to replace VHS.
Yeah.
And the only thing that tipped DVD over the edge was that the porn industry went with DVDs. Yep. And therefore, everyone else had to as well.
And also streaming online, video streaming online.
Yeah.
Well before YouTube. Well before YouTube, subscription models online, paying prescription models online.
Do you remember there was a time when having a smaller phone was a sign of wealth, or the smaller your phone was, and then at a certain point it flipped and it was the bigger your phone was.
Yeah.
It was a better status symbol. And I attribute a fair bit of that to the adult entertainment industry as well.
Yeah. Admittedly though, with the big and the small, back then the functionalities were just the buttons
Yes.
and numbers. Because,
Yeah.
you had that huge phone,
The Alcatel.
Yeah, the big Alcatel one. There was no real other functionality apart from the numbers. So hence
You
if
could text, but yeah.
Yeah. Play Snake, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of Tetris, and then all of a sudden videos came on there. It's like, oh, let's blow this thing up.
Yeah, so admittedly, you talking about that guy watching a basketball sounds pretty mean.
Yes, it looked awesome.
Because if you were at rugby gaming, you could choose to sit on the reserves bench,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
sit
yeah.
in the coach's box, or choose your. And obviously, you'd have cameras around the ground that you could do that
Yeah,
for.
there's all sorts of stuff like that. So the Disney app is going to have a thing where, if say you want, because Disney owns Star Wars now, so you want to watch Star Wars, you put it on your screen, and it's just a big square screen in front of you. But then you can click a button, and it'll put you in the cockpit of like a TIE fighter. So you're watching Star Wars, but you're now in. If you look around, you're like inside one of the, like in the Death Star
Oh
or
my
something
god!
like
If
that.
you're a Star Wars head, you would absolutely cream your jeans.
Yeah, well, in like any of those movies, there's like a Disney themed theater that you can sit in and watch these things. I watched a person sitting at a piano, and what key to press was floating in front of him. So like Guitar Hero used to be on your TV, so
Yeah.
you could see exactly where to put his fingers to play. So there's all sorts of different little weird.
Is that what that guy was doing on that train in New York? Because he
Could have been, yeah.
Because he had the goggles on, and it looked like he was typing, but he might have been playing the piano.
Well, this one that I was watching, the guy actually had a piano in front of him.
Oh.
It was just what key to press was being superimposed over the top. Yeah, so there's so many different applications, but like you said, the biggest barrier that they have is you look like a twat when you've got it on. So I don't know, we'll see how that one goes. And one other thing, yesterday was about 31 degrees in Auckland, but that didn't stop people from piling into Western Springs for Laneway. And one of my favourite things happened yesterday at Laneway, and I love when this happens. I love being in the crowd for it. I love hearing when it happens. And it is the international artist who's just been touring through Australia,
Yes.
who then comes to New Zealand and doesn't realise that they're in New Zealand and not in Australia anymore, and says, "What up, New Zealand? Hey, Melbourne.
Yeah.
We love..." This is one of the greatest ones. Stormzy yesterday was performing at Laneway at Western Springs, and he got up and he goes, "Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!" And the crowd went silent.
It's so good. I mean, he's a big unit, Stormzy.
Yes.
Who do you think came up to him and went, "Hey, yeah, you're in New Zealand, mate"?
I reckon no one. I reckon no one's telling Big Mike that he's said the wrong thing. And I think even in the crowd, they were just like, "Oh, okay."
Any booing?
Apparently, yeah, there was a bit of booing, a lot
Yeah.
of head shaking, which
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
would have affected him too much. He would have just been like, "Man, crowd's off a little bit today." Man, I thought Aussie was like blah, blah, blah. But no, yeah, it's one of my favourite things that happens, and it happened yet again. All right, one more segment we have to do every Wednesday. It is a... Sorry, I'm just chewing on these cashews. It is a half-baked sports idea.
Half-baked sports idea.
Need a glass of water. This one has come through my personal Instagram DMs, and it's from a man by the name of Ethan Vett. Half-baked sports idea for you. To solve the dead rubber in a T20 series, for the last game,
Yeah.
the side that is losing the series gets to bowl from however far away, however many games down they are,
Right.
yards. The explanation's not great. So if you're down 3-1,
And going into a dead rubber.
you get to take 2 yards off the pitch. So you're bowling from 20 yards away.
But the team that's winning still has the normal yard.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, so they bowl from the normal thing, but if you're down by 3 games, you get to come 3 yards up the pitch.
I don't know. Is that I suppose it's an advantage.
I mean, certainly if you're playing backyard cricket, I hate when
Yeah.
someone comes charging down the pitch at
Oh,
you and bowls from like 2 metres away.
And in the nets, every time in the nets, no fast bowler is bowling a legitimate delivery. They're all bowling about a foot over the line.
So it would be an advantage. It would-
Yeah, interesting. But it just means that you're going to have, I like the idea. Not the worst half bake,
Yep.
but I don't think it's ever going to go to full bake because you're going to have to change the lines on the pitch
And move the stumps.
and move the stumps for each innings, which is niggly.
Well, it is niggly, but it's also... So this would be for a T20 series. So it's, you play the first innings, then you move the pitch.
Okay, so I like to run the tourist filter through this, okay?
Yeah.
You've got a tourist, you take him along to game 5 of this T20. Tourist has just got their head around cricket, and then you move the stumps 2 feet up for the opposition.
Yeah.
How are you explaining that to Dale from Colorado?
You'd be like, look, There's this podcast called The Agenda, and one of the guys got a DM from someone that listened to it, and they came up with this idea. It would be very cricket to do that.
It's very cricket, but yeah, it was just another. Cricket doesn't need any more complexity as it already is.
Yeah.
So I like the idea, but maybe they get a smaller ball or something you don't have to physically change.
Move the boundary and would be the easiest one.
That probably makes sense.
Yeah, rather than moving the stumps around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see how that goes. All right, we need to get out of the studio because the test match is about to resume, day 4. Be very interested to see how this goes.
Hey, you like my Giants hoodie?
I love your Giants hoodie, yeah.
So Hallensteins have come on board with the ACC this year, and they're doing NFL supporters kit. They're doing Warriors supporters kit. We've got our new suits from there, new linen kind of suits.
Delightful.
They are very good. But anyway, we have got 3 sets of NFL supporters kit to give away. Jump on Instagram, the ACC NZ. Just comment which team you're following to win one of those prize packs. And we'll have some more to give away for our Super Bowl Monday party too, coming up at Sweatshop. So there's some great kit. You get a hoodie and you get a T-shirt and your supporters pack. So,
tremendous. Yeah. All right, let's go and do that. I'm going to go get a drink of water because I'm still dying from these cashews. And we'll see you tomorrow with a wrap-up, hopefully, of this test. We'll see you then.
Please.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.